the closest you can get to God is at the foot of your mother.
Something triggered where if I don't do more, I'm kind of squandering everything that I have. Dylan was like, what are you talking about? That's our deal. We're trying to sell it to you. Why are you trying to sell it back to me?
We're back with another episode of To the Moon, and today we have one of my favorite people. And I know you guys are going to say, Jamil, you see that every episode, but it's the truth. Every time we do one of these episodes, I have one of my favorites come on here because for me, having the opportunity to see people just like flower and grow and have amazing things happen to their lives because of wholesale real estate is the reason why I feel I'm breathing. So I would like to introduce you all to Mr. Jason Lee. Jason, welcome to the Moon, brother. How are you today?
What's up, Jamil? I mean, you are one of my favorite people
Thank you.
well, and I respect you so much.
Thank you, brother.
The GOAT, so yeah.
Well, listen, here's the thing, right? What I understand in life and in business as well is that there has to be a continuation. People are going to overtake. They're gonna become their own. You can grow this way well beyond what I've done in your own life, in your own way, and you've started, right? So the reason you're on here today is because you've had some success. And we're going to talk about that. But before we do, I want the viewers to understand who Jason Lee is. So tell us first, tell us a little bit about yourself and then how you even found this niche of wholesale real estate, because it's like in the world of real estate, it's like this tiny little thing, that this like little speck of what all of real estate can encompass. So give us your backstory, bro.
I mean, I would say when it comes to entrepreneurship, I probably might not be the most unlikely, as far as I had a father who had his own business, and I mean, he tried to scale too fast, and he ended up like fleeing the country.
Oh,
And
dang.
so, yeah. I mean, and left my mom all alone just to raise us. I was like in middle school. And just the fact that like my mom, she's an immigrant. She doesn't speak English too well. So, I mean, I just owe the world to the sacrifice that she made. She was a cook at a restaurant and worked 6 days, 12, 14 hours a day. And to me, like hard work was kind of what you needed to do. And like entrepreneurship, it was, I mean, to me, it sounded kind of foolish.
I would imagine it's a trauma for you, right? Yeah. Because you saw what happened with your dad. And it's unfortunate that happened, and scaling too quickly is really it can be the noose of a business, right? And I've seen that. I've seen so many businesses implode, completely break apart because of ambition, blind ambition, without steadied, measured, controlled growth, which is what I think is necessary for the survival of a scaling operation. But the interesting thing is when you tell us this story, there's a couple of things that resonate with me, and I want to point out, right? The fact that you have this massive trauma with respect to entrepreneurship, given the fact that you saw this incredible failure, your dad leaving. Are you still in contact with your father, or is there the relationship like dead?
So that's a whole long story.
Okay.
I get.
We don't need to get into that. I'm not trying to open it.
I gave him a chance to rekindle, and the fact that I was able to give him the chance, and he obviously squandered that as well.
Okay.
Like me, I mean, I'm at peace with it.
Yeah. That is the way to do it, bro. That is the absolute way to do it. You've done your best. You've tried. The olive branch was extended, and some people just aren't. Some people are actually just here to kind of bring us onto the planet, and then we do what we do, right? And so he fulfilled his purpose. You're here, but the fact the story of your mother resonates with me so much because of the way that my mom worked, right? My mom wasn't a cook in a restaurant, but she was a data entry operator. She would do that for 8 hours a day. And then she would go to a meat packing factory and she'd work another shift where she would she was in a freezer and she would be chopping, just chopping up and packing meat, right? She would do double work because life got so hard for us, and so and my mom as well as an immigrant. And when that's why, they say that, like, the closest you can get to God is at the foot of your mother, because that is literally the most unconditional relationship that you can have with a person, right? Mom's gonna love you, they take care of you, they guide you, and then they sacrifice their all for you, right? And so you had the opportunity to even have life, but beyond that, to have clothes, food, schooling, because mom worked so hard, right? So I feel like the fact that you're starting to see some success in your business, which was like overcoming a trauma in itself, speaks volumes about your character and your resilience as a man. And so, congratulations for that, because it's a rare thing, man. We all have these wounds in us, and some of us never overcome them. Some of us never have the capacity to look at the wound, understand that that wound isn't really who we are, heal it, and then transcend from it. And you were obviously able to do that, which brought you into entrepreneurship, which you had just said was foolish.
Yeah.
So now, with that in mind, right? What changed? Like, what happened? What flipped the switch in your brain that said, Jason, wake up? It's not. There's an opportunity here. How did that happen?
So I guess just being a latchkey kid, um, like I, as much as I respect my mom, I mean, currently, when I was younger, I was in the streets. Like
Yeah. Yep.
I, I didn't know how. Like I just wanted to be accepted. There was probably, I would say, two factors. There was a church that had like Vacation Bible School. I don't know if you know VBS,
I
and they
don't know
would,
it. No, but
yeah.
I'm sure it sounds like it did a wonderful job with you.
This family, they would, I mean, I would walk to the grocery store and they would hear that about my story, and like they would volunteer to take me to the market. And like just now knowing what I know now, they didn't have to do that for me. They planted seeds in my heart at that moment. And I mean, and like I said, when I was younger, I might have not appreciated that. But now that I reflect back, like that's why I have this need to want to give back. And I mean, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. So
And
uh
you will, because of those desires that we have implanted in our heart are there for reasons, right?
yeah,
It'll be how the story of your life unfolds, where you do give back, where you have the opportunity to deliver the same type of value, not only in the way, because they did the best they could just getting you to the market, right?
yeah,
And they gave you something. They planted a seed of hope. They planted a seed of giving. They planted a seed of selflessness, and that seed has sprouted into this man, right, who now wants to give back, who has been able to overcome the situations. I was a latchkey kid too, dude. My mom was working so much that my sister raised me, and so, like, it's a strange thing, right? But I love my mother so much, but it's like I didn't get to see her a lot as a kid because she worked so hard, right? And so I was in the streets too. Like, I totally understand your situation. Like, it's almost parallel. A couple details are going to be are off, because I did have my father, but my father, he just wasn't home either. He was working literally 7 days a week at his business,
mhm,
so we didn't see him 7 to 7:30. Dad was gone, so it was like, I was just like out there.
yeah,
And my sister, we were just like, what do we do? Well, you get into trouble. That's essentially how it played out for a long time for us until we smartened up. But let's get you to real estate now, because you make this decision to overcome entrepreneurship as a trauma or as a foolishness,
mhm.
and you take a step towards it. So now you're here. How do you find wholesaling? Like, what was the trigger point there?
So as you know, I drive FedEx for a living. I mean, when I was talking to you the first time, I was
Yeah,
driving,
right.
and
I remember that.
yeah, and the reason why I drive, my brother-in-law, that's his business.
Okay.
That's his. He's a definitely entrepreneur, I mean, he's always pushing me to do more. I used to take that as an insult
Mm,
because he pushing me, and then for me, it's like, am I not doing enough for you? Like I was really starting to get like bothered by that.
right.
But then he was always pushing me to do more because that's how he thinks. And
Mm,
so for him is like, stop selling. Like you don't have to settle. And I'm like, I guess, not coming from anything and having like a life that I have now, I was like, I'm comfortable. Like I was playing defense. And so he was always telling me to do like more and more play offense, but I didn't know what. But then something triggered where if I don't do more, um, I'm kind of squandering everything that I have, if that makes sense.
that
Like,
is it's your responsibility.
yes,
It's your and you recognized it, right? You recognized your responsibility to actually to take this life and honor it. Because
you know,
you got one shot here, man.
yeah,
That's it. You got one shot. And some of us don't even load the gun, right? Some of us don't even realize it's there. But there's that saying, they call it the shot that's heard around the world. It's that man, it's that woman that says, I'm gonna load it and I'm gonna fire it and it will be heard. And I'm gonna shoot my shot. And you did. You shot it,
yeah.
and you made it, right? Like you pushed. So you find wholesaling. Um, was it an ad? Did you watch a YouTube video? Was it what was that? What was the like journey to it?
So my brother-in-law, which is like an older brother to me, his which is my partner as far as FedEx, he has a niece that joins up too.
Okay.
So like, I mean, they're fearless when it comes to sub two. So I just started like really, hearing a lot. I mean, pace, you can't. The way he teaches is very monkey see, monkey do, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
how I operate. Like
Yep.
it really resonated. So I would start researching and just did YouTube University. And I mean, obviously, I came into watching you, and I think there was obviously everybody gravitates you with the prayer in the beginning. But for me, it was that one time that you were calling all the people that haven't done business with you for a year, and you're calling them and saying, why are we not working together? But like to be honest, like you're exposing your business and saying, there's a hole within my business, and you're willing to put that as a content. Like to me, that spoke everything. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really gravitate. I mean, I guess because I don't have like great role models, I really choose not to have role models. And like, I mean, yeah, the whatever you've been saying with especially in the Zooms, like it just speaks to me. And so like I mean, I know you probably know, but we'll go run through a wall for you guys. I mean, the fact that I mean, yeah, you're so vulnerable and I appreciate just the transparency and like I mean, yeah, it just
Thank you.
I
And
resonate with
thank you. And it's hard. Believe me, it's difficult to bear your scars, to bear your wounds publicly the way that I have to do. And it's no secret that I've had a really hard year, right? One of the best years for me professionally. I made more money this year than I've ever made, and which is cool. But I'm telling you, I've had more obstacles, more pain, more challenges than I was really hoping for, right? And so, but because I choose not to hide that, because I think the problem with social media is that we have this tendency, or people have a tendency to say, okay, look, I'm going to show you the highlights, and the highlight reel, I'm only going to give you the like best,
it. Yeah.
right? I'm going to show you the flash, the cash, and the ass, whatever it is that you got, right? That's how people market themselves on social media, where in reality is that this isn't life. That's not life. You have 80, 90 failures, and then you get like this 10%, 20% of success, and that gets you everything you want, right? But you have to fail so many times in order to get there. And I feel like it's a disservice to people not to not only expose it, but to show folks how to remedy it or how to understand it, analyze it, and then grow from it, right? To me, that is the human experience. That's why we're here. We're all meant to walk each other home. And so, if that's the case, then if I only show you the good things, you're going to see that and you're going to say, I call BS. There's no chance that this man's life is that perfect. There's no chance that this man's business is that, you know, like guarded or efficient. There's no chance that it is just that unconceivably unblemished, which is would if anybody with any common sense would understand that would be false, right? So thank you for appreciating it, because I have had struggles in the past with being as vulnerable and honest and transparent as I am. But I appreciate knowing that it brought you into our world. And so thank you for sharing that with me, because to me, that's something that means something to me. And I appreciate that. I'll hold that dear. I want to talk about your deal, because it's a great one about a specific market on what's possible, what's not possible. And so walk us through that entire situation, if you would.
So, as you know, I drive all day. And so I needed to leverage my time. And I can talk to anybody anytime, but I can't really like look people up, or I can't really stay organized. So, like I said, whatever you tell the community, and whatever, I think you were speaking to another person that had a similar schedule as mine, and you were just telling them, why are you not getting AstroBlaster? And
Right.
for me, I was like, why am I should do the same exact thing. And I mean, it took a while to kind of start the system. And once I got it started, like I started getting more organized. And for me, I guess not being as disciplined, I needed something to kind of keep
Push it
me.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, because one of the things about entrepreneurship, which is like a symptom of it, it's a symptom of entrepreneurship in that, we get excited, we get motivated, right? And that lasts so long, right? It only lasts so long. So I've seen so many people come in and they'll do a week's worth of work, hard work, right? Outreach, conversations, negotiations, verbal offers, all the things that are necessary in order to get deals under contract, the things that move the needle. But we know that in this business, it doesn't happen on the first call. It's never going to, it very rarely happens on the first try, very rarely. It takes follow-up and follow-up and follow-up and follow-up. And that's not motivation. That's discipline. Now, unfortunately, when you have a 9-to-5 job, it's even as disciplined as you are to show up at your job, it's difficult to continue maintaining the follow-up sequences that are necessary in order to actually get the result that we're looking for, that you spent all that time having that initial outreach in the first place doing, right? And so the reason AstroBlaster was even invented is because this 17-year-old kid was chained to his desk in high school, Andy Wrong, who I'm sure you are aware of.
Yeah.
He needed an opportunity to be able to continue doing his agent outreach while he's in class. And so, I didn't invent AstroBlaster. He did, right? He created, within the community, he created a solution for people. And it's just so beautiful that, it has been embraced the way it has. And yeah, of course, anything that is tech-based is going to take time to set up. But you were patient through it. You got set up. You went through it. You turned up the volume. You went. So tell us what market you're in, because I think it's going to be surprising to people. Where are you at?
I'm in SoCal.
So the reason I know you're in SoCal, but the reason I said that was because I wanted to tee you up, because there's so many people out there that think, oh, there ain't no deals in Southern California. There's no deals in LA. Agents are out their mind out here. Everybody's out of their mind. There's no chance of doing business here. It's just, limiting belief. You just came in and said, you didn't even have a belief about it. You were just like, okay, I'm going to put the system on. I'm going to do my initials, and then I'm going to turn up the volume on follow up. And what happened?
I mean, it really, like, it took 10 touches. It's the back and forth of going back with the agent, and I tried to actually get on a phone call with him, and he was in a meeting, and I didn't really pay much mind to it. So we just went back and forth, and he was like one of those curious type of agents that were asking questions, and so I just answered the question, and at the 10 touch, he had a so within his brokerage there was a off market, and he was a buyer's agent, and he was had a relationship with the listing agent, and there was no investors that were within their brokerage that they had network with, and so he just brought it to me, and
It's so dope.
yeah,
It's so good.
I
So
mean, that's exactly what we look for, pocket listings, right?
pocket listings, right? And that's the thing. And it's, it's why the statistics tell us that the average number of touches to get an agent to produce an address is 8 to 13. So you landed right in the middle,
Yeah.
right? You landed right at 10, which is like bang on.
Mhm.
You get the address. Okay. Now you're negotiating. They didn't even have anybody for it. So this limiting belief out there, all you SoCalers, that there's this like, a property becomes available and it's just gobbled up out there by all the people. And it's not like that. There's an entire brokerage who they had this off-market pocket listing, and they're like, we ain't got anybody for it. But they're like, hey, this Jason Lee guy keeps messaging me. This guy's relentless. He just keeps messaging me, keeps following up, keeps asking, let's just give him a shot. So they send it to you, and what happens next?
So their asking was at 999.
Yep.
K.
Which, by the way, you don't have $999,000, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, so again, limiting belief for all you folks out there who think I can't do this because I can't do it in LA because the LA prices are so high. That's not the point. That's not what wholesale is. Continue.
So just like on your Astro Zooms, you were talking to, I think you had introduced all your Keegley owners.
Yep.
And that's when I saw you introduce Sergio and Joe in our
Yes.
Keegley West Market. And
Yep.
I've been looking for somebody to help me. And, I feel like I was like in the island. As much as I was reaching out to other people, I just needed more support. And so I reached out to Joe. He connected me with Mike Van Ness. And so,
Great dude.
he's wonderful.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I gave him the property, and he was like, "Hey, I have an institutional buyer. They locked up something recently at 900 K. If you can go below that, pretty much that's where you need to be." So he told us where to anchor. He said 830 to 850. I wasn't trying to be greedy on my first deal, so I just anchored at 850. Gave them our terms, and made the offer. The buyer's agent was actually kind of like, I don't know. This is not I don't want to kind of make myself look bad.
Sure.
And we just kind of encouraged them, like, just fill it out. If they're willing to entertain it, then present the offer. If they feel like that's an insult, and I think if we gave a bad number, I knew that they were going to put it on the market.
Right.
So I needed to be pretty reasonable.
Sure.
So we put it at 850. They came back. They didn't even care about the number, but they wanted better terms.
Okay.
So we were offering 1% EMD, and they asked for 2%. We wanted our escrow, and they wanted to use their escrow on title. And so I brought that to Mike, and he said, he felt like it was a great deal. So he was like, we're willing to do that for you. And
so he put up the EMD, 2% EMD.
And that's 70K.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously I don't want to put that kind of money up there.
Of course, yeah. Right? So you don't even have to leverage your money
at all. Yeah.
Right? Bro, wholesale is the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world. I'm telling you, look at this. He doesn't have to leverage a dime. Keegley puts the 70K up for him. Help him with the buy number. Jason does a phenomenal job with communicating to this buyer's agent. Listen, this isn't insulting. This is business, right? I know you guys started at $999, but let's be honest here. We're in a pretty interesting market right now. There aren't a lot of people biting. You don't have investors in house right now that are looking. So you agree to the terms. They put up the 70K EMD. You're under contract 850. What's next?
It was. I have so much respect for the dispo side now. I mean, this was like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So we had obviously the first showing had the institutional buyer, and this one person he said kind of like sight unseen, I want the property. Both of them walked it, and the institutional buyer wanted single story,
Mm.
so ours was a 2-story, and so they automatically said we're out.
Okay.
The sight unseen person pretty much didn't follow up with us, so he kind of ghosted us.
Okay. Which
So
happens all the time.
all the
So
time, yeah,
continue, you're still pushing. Two
yeah,
buyers out. Hope
and
is starting to
so.
get a little bit tight. You're like,
Oh, yeah,
what we
and
doing?
so I kinda started networking with some of the buyers that I connected with
Yep.
and see where, as much as Keegley I respect, obviously, but I kinda this was like my baby. So
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Hey, listen, no one's gonna. I've said this a million times. Nobody's gonna care about your deal as much as you. And as hard as they worked, they did their best, right? They brought 70K to the table, which was incredible. They brought the buyers that they could bring to the table, which didn't pan out. You then take responsibility for the situation, and then how'd you put it together?
So one person, we had the second showing, and we brought like 6 or I was like, it was crazy. And even our buyer's agent was kind of getting confused, like,
What are you doing? Yeah.
oh, and I guess one thing I forgot to share is when we accepted our 850, they posted it on MLS saying that it was under contract for 850.
I
That right
hate
there,
that.
I think that's what killed our deal, like with our first 2 buyers.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
so
You always gotta tell the agent, listen, please don't put this on the MLS. You're gonna absolutely wreck my situation. Hard to appraise after when the flip is done. It completely creates a price stamp. Please don't put this on the MLS. And when you communicate that beforehand,
yeah,
they usually understand. But I guess that never happened. So they put this on the
and
MLS at 850 then.
I guess dealing with the buyer's agent, we didn't really have that direct, and I guess that's why you usually advise people not to deal with the buyer's agent, and I can kind of see why,
Hmm.
because we have filters now.
Hmm.
I have 2 filters to kind of talk to, and so we weren't able to kind of communicate that initially. And to be honest, I really had no idea that was a thing, and
Right.
so we kind of had to do some damage control because people started, though I guess the buyers who are savvy enough, they'll look that up,
Right.
and
Oh,
so
they will always look it up.
yeah,
If you're going to come to the table with $850,000, you're going to type in the address into the internet, and you're going to see it's on Redfin. You're going to see it's on Zillow. You're going to have an MLS number associated with it. You're like, this thing's on the market.
yeah.
So on the market 850. What are you guys marketing it at?
889
Okay.
was our number. So with we talked to Joe, and he actually, so the buyer's agent was, oh, even though I tried to explain the whole situation, he still was like, I still don't understand why you want us to take it out. And so Joe, being who he is, he just hopped on the phone call and then talked about him being a mortgage broker for 20 years, and just, he pretty much put it down. And then like they were like, okay, we have no issues with that. And so they finally took it off. But then I think you can still see
It's
the
a
snap.
history.
Yeah,
There's a history there. Yeah. It still has it. It's like a pimple, but it's like a
right.
popped pimple.
Yeah,
So it's at least not like, oozing anymore or whatever. Well, maybe it is. But anyways, it's not there. It's kind of there, kind of it's like a ghost. It's a ghost listing now, but it's off market, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah. And so I guess doing a little bit more damage control. Um, I finally connected with a couple of investors. One person said they wanted at 910, and we're like, okay. They were the highest and best, and
Highest and
so
best.
we were offering our contract to them, and he was a little bit kind of, I guess, beating around the bush, and said he needed 2 days of EMD.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was he calls so in the pace world, the elephant challenge, there's a lot of baby elephants that
Hmm.
I've been networking with, and this one guy I really gravitated towards, he was helping me with this deal. And I yeah, we actually ended up becoming partners, but we'll talk about that later. But he called him because his name is Dylan, and he was like, "Hey, Dylan, I have this deal in Thousand Oaks. Are you want to buy it from me?" And then Dylan was like, What are you talking about? That's our deal. We're trying to sell it to you. Why are you trying to sell it back to me?" And so he was like,
that
"No."
happens. Yep.
And so he was like, "Hey, totally, I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding." And obviously he was doing a lot of backtracking, and he was thinking Dylan was fair trade. And so we were like, why will we can go to fair trade ourselves. Do we need you to go to fair trade with us? So we obviously pulled our contract away from him, and we had a backup buyer. And so he was at 870, and we're out. For me, I was like, I just need to perform for my agent. I don't care if I make $1,000. Like, as long as I perform, I don't want to,
bad name, ruin a relationship, all the things. Yep.
so like we're like, okay, let's do it for 870, and it was right around Thanksgiving, and so he was supposed to put his EMD on Wednesday, and everybody was in holiday schedule, so I didn't hear from them. I actually thought the deal was finalized. On Thanksgiving, I was telling my whole family that I got my first deal. Everybody was, happy and celebrating for me because, like for me, I'm a very reserved and like an introvert. Real estate has really brought me out of my shell. Like it's almost like I have a sense of joy that I want to just share with other people, if that makes sense. And
All the
so
sense.
yeah, I was, because they knew that I'm a totally different person. Like I've, fasted, like I've overcome so much, like I guess mindset stuff. Like even talking to you, the last time I talked to you, I lost 25 pounds just
Good for
by,
you, man.
yeah, and it's really just, yeah, a mindset thing. I mean, it's more than, it's really like how kind of you always talk about, like create the person that you want to be, and then just keep, why not do that, whatever activities that person is supposed to be doing, pretty much do that.
And then
And
you become them.
yeah, and so it becomes more of a common thing for me now that I've tried to, like, yeah, I guess overcome. So yeah, that Friday, find out the deal was not, it was still, because they never put the EMD in. So I'm calling the agent and saying we need to extend because our Friday was supposed to be the end of our contingency. I mean the inspection period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just explained, there was the holidays. Sorry, we can't sign the inspection. Can we just pull it to Tuesday? And so I talked to Mike. He said we do have a buyer. He's a broker that wants to give it to his kids, but he doesn't understand the investor side of the whole transaction. And so he kind of showed it to his lawyer, and they looked at the contract, and it had something that they thought was fishy. And so what happened was the mother-in-law, who's went to assisted living, the son had power of attorney, and then it was supposed to go all under the mother-in-law. And it was just all complicated, so they had to redo the contract.
Okay.
And so Monday, I just networked with a couple of other investors and had um, their buyers, and they did have an offer, but we just wanted to give this one guy a chance because he was coming in all cash, and he was willing to close at our. We had one more week to go for the end of the whole thing. And so, long story short, he just finally pulled through on Tuesday.
At what price?
At 8.7. So we made 30K.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
So like 880 basically.
880 exactly.
So you
And
make $30,000, of which you got what you get out of that.
12K. And for me,
Phenomenal.
like having them put 70K EMD, I mean, it's like almost getting a gator to put up that money, and you don't have all that headache to not know what you're trying to do. And so, like, I mean, it's so valuable. I mean, I don't know why people wouldn't want to do their first deal with somebody else to kind of hold their hand. Like
It's yeah. Look, it's what it is, right? there's always going to be a subset of people out there who look at this and say, Jamil, if your business was so successful, why would you share it with people? That makes no sense, right? Well, let me tell you guys why it's the most smart thing that you could ever do. Because here's what it is. Jason joins the Astro community. He's now connected into this family. My Keegley franchises, who pay me royalties when they do deals, okay, are working with the people that I'm training, that I can consider myself the best at this business when it comes to wholesale in the country. Fight me if you think you're better. It's not possible. But the deal is that, see how this is, right? You join, you learn, you work with my team. It's like a win-win-win. You win, I won, they won, I win again. It's beautiful. This is why the folks that look at this whole situation and they say with this like pessimistic point of view of like, it's too good to be true. No, it's that you guys don't think right. You guys don't understand the way that dots connect in the world and how you can structure things in ways that it's to your advantage to create competition, because I don't compete with you. I'm actually bringing you into this sphere of what we do, and so we all grow and all make more money together. And that to me is the most beautiful thing that's ever that you could ever do, right? The ripple effect of that $12,000 and the ripple effect of the changes that have happened in your mind now have translated into your body, translated into your confidence, and have helped you, as you had said, come out of your shell. Yeah. And so I'm grateful for you, Jason. I want everybody to do business with you if they're there in SoCal. I want you guys to all get to know Jason. Jason, how should people reach you? How should people reach out to you if they want to do business with you, brother?
I mean, I drive all day, so I'm willing to and wanting to connect with everybody. If it's not even real estate, about life, I mean, I'm totally open. I mean, like I said, my office hours is when I'm driving, so reach me. Phone number 213-272-5620. I mean,
do it one more time for the folks who are slow.
213-272-5620. My Instagram handle, jason.lee.rei.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Jason, welcome to the moon, brother. You deserve it. You belong here, and to many, many more. And for everybody else who's watching this right now, give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man, because you see this is what this is all about. It's inspiring, it's good, it's knowledge, and you deserve better if you don't have it already. So subscribe again, like, share this with somebody you love. Until the next time, we're out.
Appreciate it.